the client, but you'll actually be able to see us talking to each other, which would be nice, I think, instead of just seeing me talk. So anyway, we're going to try that. In addition, we are going to have the 5 minutes of personal finance as always. And today, I'm keeping it kind of light. I was going to do what is an index fund, and I thought it's a little heavy for a Friday. So, so I'm not going to lie. It's just really like a little heavy for me for a Friday. Let's keep it real. But so instead, I decided that the 5 minutes of personal finance today would be earn money with these free mobile apps. Yeah, I had to stay like right in my wheelhouse and keep it light and keep it easy today. So we're going to discuss some mobile apps that will help you earn some free money. It'll be super easy, super light, kind of fun. So we like that. I want to thank our sponsor this morning, the Tax Mama, aka Eva Rosenberg. If you have not been to her website yet, you do yourself a favor and go there, particularly if you are a business owner. She has 2 fantastic award-winning books, Small Business Taxes Made Easy, and another book called Deduct Everything. In addition, when you go to her website, she will allow you to ask free tax questions. So that's another thing you want to avail yourself of when you go to taxmama.com with 1M. And she's an expert in all things taxes. You will not regret it. We have another sponsor coming on. I hope to have him on by next week. Pretty excited about that. I will keep you posted as to what's going on there. And I also have a couple of really big announcements coming up. So stay tuned on Monday. I have some big announcements. There's a speaking tour that I'm happy to be a part of, the Women of Influence speaking tour, which is a nationwide tour, which is starting, I believe it should be starting sometime in September. That's exciting. And I'm also doing some regular spots on other stations, which there's 2 next week. One's going to be every Wednesday and another one's going to be every Friday morning. So I'll let you know about that. So I'll keep you posted, but good stuff going on. Now, if you want to know these things in advance and you want to know who my guests are going to be in advance and what they're going to talk about, the best way to do that is by following me on social media. On Twitter, it is at Money Talk Mel. On Facebook, it is at Money Talk with Melanie. On Pinterest, Google Plus, oh gosh, where else am I? Everywhere else, it's Money Talk with Melanie. If you Google me, somebody mentioned I was a guest on someone else's show, and they mentioned that I have a pretty strong Google presence. They said, if you Google her, you'll be able to find her, no problem. She's a pretty strong web presence. Now, I'm not going to lie. This is a bad, like, really entrepreneurial thing to say, but that's only me just working my social media half to death. Like, I didn't do the whole pay per click and get your, to get your website up higher and all that kind of good stuff. Which, speaking of websites, the Money Talk with Melanie website is coming soon. I know I've been saying that, but I'm such a type A perfectionist. I can't help myself. I want it to be perfect, and I want my schedule for posting things to be perfect. And until it's perfect, I just don't want it out yet. So, but I'm getting there. And I'm also a bit of a control freak, which I think is probably a signature trait of entrepreneurs. So I want to give it to somebody else to work on, because that's probably the best thing to do. And I probably will eventually release the reins a little bit, but the Money Talk with Melanie website is coming soon. Okay. So now that I've like just gabbed about myself, let's talk about a little news, shall we? The Money Talk news report. I feel like I talk about Amazon all the time, but it's not my fault completely. I'm not taking any responsibility for that. But they're always in the news. So they went on this like hiring frenzy on Wednesday. Their goal was to hire 50,000 people that day. And actually there was one near me. I live in New Jersey. Well, not near me, but in my state, relatively near me. Up north, they were hiring people for their warehouses and packaging and stuff like that. Not a bad deal. I mean, Amazon's kicking butt and taking names, and I love Amazon. Feel free to send me a check, Amazon, because I feel like I'm talking about you awful lot here lately. Just saying. Uh, um, here's something that's newsworthy if you're in the car industry. Um, Apparently, people are not doing that replacement vehicle thing as often as they used to. They're keeping their cars longer. And something I saw on LinkedIn this morning, they said, are car makers, pardon me, are car makers a victim of their own success because we're making better cars. Cars are lasting longer, and according to General Motors, their sales fell 15%. Fiat, according to them, they fell 10%, and 7.5%, according to Ford. This is according to a Bloomberg report. Everybody's and these are, those are American-made cars. I mean, to be honest, there used to be a time when you would expect that kind of longevity or non-replacement out of cars that are made abroad. But now that's fantastic for car owners to save money, but the car industry is going to have to do something about that to enhance their bottom lines, I'm sure. And that doesn't mean to make cars that are not as good. Don't get any ideas. I'm just saying. Another thing that's happening is that we're not moving as often as we used to. Apparently, people are just not as mobile as they used to be, and that's according to another report. Another report that I found on LinkedIn. I have to tell you, sometimes I cheat when I look for my news. I'm going to make a confession here. There's something called the LinkedIn Rundown that makes perfect news report. So I will find items from there, items from the skim, items from the news, and then kind of compile them all. But LinkedIn was talking about that this morning, that people have stopped believing that they can leave, which is it's kind of, I don't know, that's kind of scary. We need to believe that we can do that. Okay, now I have another problem. I'm just going to put this out here. I'm just going to put this out here. I have both my iPad and my iPhone on Do Not Disturb. And you all know I love my Apple products like dearly. But yeah, even though it's on Do Not Disturb, it always disturbs me, Apple. So me and Apple tech support are going to have a talk. but I'm working on that. It's so annoying. Anyway, that's your Money Talk News Report. When we come back, Tamara Kleinberg is going to talk to us about all things avoiding the, oh my gosh, this YouTube video was so cute and so funny. I love it. Small business marketing strategies, but avoiding the. And if you saw that on the promo, you're probably like, what in the world is the ER? We're going to talk about it when we come back in a moment.
Call it the deep state or the unelected administration. We the people had better wake up before America is put to sleep. Hello, I'm Ron Edwards. On today's page from the Edwards Notebook, the elitists of big government, the establishment media, and academia are a three-headed monster that is bent on literally destroying our republic. Of course, every thinking American knows that. In fact, that trilogy has been working for decades to turn America into a dictatorship that is far removed from the constitutionally limited republic the founding fathers left us. One can go all the way back to the time of Ingalls and quickly learn how dedicated the globalist elites are in their movement to rule over everyone except themselves. Great men like Presidents Lincoln, McKinley, and Kennedy were murdered for trying to put America and liberty above global tyranny. The deep state or unelected entrenched administration that is being challenged by President Trump is just as evil as those in the past who put McKinley, Lincoln, and Kennedy asunder. My fellow Americans, America the Beautiful is in a literal fight for her survival. We must bring back Americanism and pray for our president, who is loathed by the same type of elitists who also hated McKinley, Lincoln, Kennedy, and Reagan. I'm Ron Edwards. Sponsored by the Tri-County Liberty Coalition.
Who likes paying taxes? Nobody. That's why Eva Rosenberg from TaxMama.com wants you to pay less of them. Read Small Business Taxes Made Easy and learn how to set up a business plan that minimizes taxes, the tax benefits of different forms of financing, spot and fix errors in the 1099s, legally increase your deductible expenses with better record-keeping techniques. Don't let the IRS squeeze you out of every penny. Start deducting today. Visit TaxMama.com. TaxMama.com. That's TaxMama with one M.com.
Gotta love the Tax Mama. I love that commercial too. I'm like big on that commercial. I'm liking it. Okay, so I'm going to, okay, that looked okay. All right. So we're back. You're listening to Money Talk with Melanie. This is your business diva, Melanie Collette. And I have the one and only Tamara Kleinberg with me. Before I bring her on, you can see her now. You can see her like super cuteness right now. She's waving hi. See, I was going to wear my glasses. I should have worn my glasses.
We could have matched.
Yeah. Because you look super cute in them.
Oh, thanks.
You do.
They make me look smart. That's the point.
Yes. Yes, they totally make you look smart. They do. Well, let me tell you a little bit about, and first of all, it's Tamara, right?
Tamara, you're close.
Doggone it. Tamara.
You're the East Coast, right? It's like, I'll see you tomorrow.
I like
That's
that.
how you have to think about it.
It's Tamara. I'm so sorry. It's Tamara. I meant to ask you that from the outset. It's Tamara. I'm going to remember that from now on.
Everybody does it, so I'm used to it.
It's Tamara. Well, let me tell you a little bit about Tamara. First of all, she's returning to Money Talk with Melanie. She was like my second guest when I first started the radio show, and she was totally awesome. That day we had so much fun. But she is one of an elite group of TED Talk speakers, and I've gone on and on about TED Talks. I'm not even going to do it right now. But if you don't know what a TED Talk is and haven't heard about it, make your first one Tamara's.
Okay, it's spelled the same either way, so if you look it up online, you'll find me.
The English language is so easy. Make your first one Tamara's. Check her out. And check her out on TED Talk. Go to TEDTalk.com and look up Tamara Kleinberg. You will not be sorry. Her life is about breaking through the status quo for game-changing results. And as a founder of a thriving business, GoLaunchStreet.com, go to that website, check that out. Lots of awesome podcasts and great information, especially if you're an entrepreneur on that website. And she uses that platform to help people innovate and differentiate in an oversaturated world. Tell me about it. Tamara knows what it takes to drive growth and innovation daily in an ever-changing marketplace. Understatement of the year. And she's the creator of the Innovation Quotient Edge Assessment. Tamara has developed the only tool able to measure people's natural innovation strengths and deliver insights and tools for performing at their peak, bringing more innovative leads to the table, and being a high-value team member. And I want to get to you, so I'm not going to go on about the bio unless there's something else that you definitely want my audience to know.
You know what? That is more than enough.
Anytime you do your bio, right? You're always like, there's so much, because by the time you get to this point where you're doing podcasts and you're telling other people, there's like a lot, right?
There's a lot, but nobody cares. That's the thing I have to remind myself. But nobody really cares. So just get to the content, get to the value.
They don't. Oh my gosh. Thank you for saying that. It's so true. It's so
which is a great reminder. I need to get my dad to a sentence and be like, Tamara is here with us.
There you go. There you go. I mean, when someone asks for my bio, I'm like, what part? What do you want? Like like a resume, like last 10 years. But even then, it tends to be like
college. Oh, I can't remember half of it. So that's a lot.
Listen. So so true. Okay, so I just want to go on record as saying this is already like way better.
You know what? I love this. I have to say, so for those listening and watching, I was on early, so because I like to make sure there's no tech glitches on my side, but I feel like I got a backstage pass. It was so much fun watching you talk, and I think seeing someone adds a whole nother layer that you just don't get over audio, and audio is great, but I can see how you are experiencing what you say versus just kind of listening to it. It's just so cool.
100%, 100%.
Yeah,
And in another week or so, I'm going to have a body language expert on. So I think that would probably be helpful to be able to see.
Is that right?
Yes. Am I frowning? So
Ooh, how do I? I get all nervous. Like, what do I do with my hands?
Well, that's true. It got to be, and you have to be really careful with your hands. Yeah, just saying.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of funny because you do there. I talk, right, with I'm a whole body talker.
Right.
And when I do video, I have to remind myself that that's actually distracting. It's not a good thing. But if you were,
if you do like this while you're,
that's normally I'm like, hey, listen, let's talk about this.
Well, let's talk about small business marketing, shall we? Yeah. And when I first saw the podcast, and of course I was familiar with you already, but I was like, let me see what she's up to. So I went to your website and I saw this YouTube video. And I'm like, first of all, what in the world is avoid? I mean, doesn't everybody want to avoid the ER? But that's not what you were talking about. So tell the audience what it was you were talking about.
Yeah, so I'm going to share the story that goes with it because I think that puts it all into context.
Absolutely.
And actually an experience that we've all had, right? So, I'm with my son. I've got 2 boys. They're now 12 and 8, but Liam, who's my oldest, was 4 at the time. And, it's one of those Thursday evenings. It's 4 o'clock. I got to get into the grocery store and I got to get the basics and get the hell out. So I'm like, okay, Tamara, you're going to go and you're going to get eggs, you're going to get chicken, you're going to get vodka, and you're getting out. And I realized, I need a new razor. So I, shuffle the cart over and I'm standing in front of that sea of razor options, and you're looking at it like, what? Do I need 3 blades and a pivot head? Do I need a lotion strip and 2 blades? Do I need a, titanium steel handle? Like, I don't know what to do. So I get totally paralyzed, and I pick up my son, I say goodbye to my stuff, and I walk my 2 hairy legs right out the store. I don't buy anything. And I come home, and the next day, to my husband's strong suggestion, I signed up for Dollar Shave Club. And now, like clockwork, I get a razor delivered to my doorstep the first Monday of every month. It's fantastic. I don't have to think about it. But the reason I love that story and kind of I smile when I share that experience is that is the trap that many entrepreneurs, many businesses get into, what I experienced at the razor store. So I go in, I'm at the sea of razors, and I'm like, oh my God, they're all kind of the same, but different, right? So it's better, stronger, faster, quicker, smoother. That's the ER trap that I want people to think about avoiding. So you look at all those options that I looked at the grocery store, which is and then you look at Dollar Shave Club that's like, hey, I'm going to do it totally different. I'm going to give you a subscription. You're not going to have to worry about it. I'm going to deliver it to your doorstep. Don't worry about all that other stuff. And I'm like, yes, now my legs are smooth. And my husband was very happy about it. So thank God it was winter. But so that's kind of the real purpose or the real point of the story for us as entrepreneurs is don't fall into the trap. Better, stronger, faster. It's not enough in today's marketplace. And the killer is, and you've kind of hinted at this in other radio shows of yours that I've listened to, is if you make something, let's call it better, right? Just a little bit better, your competition can outbetter you the next day. And then you're trying to outbetter them and they're trying to outbetter you. You won't win. You can't win that game. So you got to think about, how do I provide differentiated value versus better? So we're always asking ourselves here at Launch Street, am I in the trap? Like the trap, because it's so bad and you can't win.
It's so true. It is so very true. And I was glad, I'm sure this was very intentional, the way you put it. I was like, what is the ER trap? Let me see what that is.
There's the other marketing thing, right? Like surprise people a little bit. Give them an open loop. Don't give away everything right away.
Exactly. And always attaching a personal story to it. Always helpful. And these are just like side entrepreneurial marketing points that we're adding in here. Just want to point
more value bombs. Just keep doing more.
Well, exactly. But the things that you do, and people need to understand this, that when you see people who are really good TED Talk speakers, which, if you're a TED Talk speaker, that kind of automatically says really good.
It means you know something, at least.
It means you know a little bit of something. You learned a little bit of something. And But also in the podcast and things like that, when you see successful people doing that, everything that you see is intentional. Am I right about that?
You know, it's so interesting you say that. I was just listening to a podcast this morning with the founder of Soul Cycle. Now, I don't go, but they're blowing up across the globe. And one of the things that they were talking about their success is the fact that they consider themselves an experience company, not a bicycle. You know, we go in and do the spin bikes for 45 minutes, for those who don't know it. And I think that, and if you look at the companies that are wildly successful in disrupting the marketplace, Soul Cycle, Airbnb, like all those guys, they're creating an experience where every detail matters.
Yes, indeed. And now I'm so glad you mentioned Soul Cycle. I was in DC, I don't know, a couple of weeks ago, and I saw one, and I thought, so you just go and cycle? But I was literally like kind of driving past it, but I thought, wow, you just go.
I haven't gone yet. I'm dying to go, but everyone who I know who goes, it's like a tribe. They love it. Really? It is a full like mind body experience. I mean, to hear them talk about it, you think they went and met the Dalai Lama. Like they love it. And I haven't tried it yet, but I'm eager to go. So the next time we're in the same city and there's a Soul Cycle,
we're doing it,
and we're going to check it out.
Yes.
That's the other thing I'd say to when you think about business out there is when you're hearing about these successful companies, go experience them because you'll take something back. So I always try to go and experience the ones that I'm starting to hear about. I'm like, oh, I'm going to go check them out.
Airbnb?
They know something I don't.
So, Airbnb, right? Sounds
all the time.
Sounds scary, sounds frightening. I finally broke down and did it like maybe a month ago. I stayed in DC for $32.
Right. It's amazing. It is. Airbnbs. We just went to Telluride on vacation and did an Airbnb, and it was like the best experience ever. And Airbnb makes a good experience, not just the condo or room that you find.
Absolutely.
They know how to make it an experience. So can I loop back though? You said something about the car industry and not lasting as long, and people not buying cars. Can I just share something around that?
Please.
Because, you know, if you saw my face while you were talking, I was like, yeah, exactly. So when we were in Telluride, we had a condo and it had cable. We don't have cable. I'm one of those, I watch Netflix, HBO, Amazon Prime, but I've cut my cable.
So you're smart is what you are. Go ahead.
Well, I don't need all that junk. There's nothing ever to watch. And, you know, I want to watch specific things and they've got better content. So that's, sorry, cable companies, but that's the truth. Right?
I talked about that a couple weeks ago. Go ahead. Go ahead.
It's the truth. It's the truth. So my kids don't know commercials. So we're up in Telluride and we have Cartoon Network because it's the first time we have it and they're watching it and they are so annoyed at the commercials because they are interrupting their programming and they don't understand why they can't swipe it away and or pause it or like, what the hell's going on, Mom? Like, come on. So we go, so there's these commercials for shoes coming on for kids back to school. So we go, I take my kids to the shoe store and Skechers has these new shoes that light up on the bottom. If anyone's seen the commercials, and no offense Skechers, but here's what happened. I'm in the shoe store. I look at the shoe and I go, oh, Ari, do you want that? And he goes, oh God, no, that was the shoe from that commercial. And those commercials are so annoying. I don't want to buy that shoe. He equated
Ouch.
that shoe, that brand with the commercial, and commercials are outdated and irrelevant in his mind. And to me, that was, we're in the middle of a shoe store and I'm like, oh my God.
No, that was value right there.
So I think as business owners, we got to think about how are we putting our marketing and our ideas out there. And sorry, Skechers, but you need to rethink your strategy because, you know, this next generation coming up, these next generation of buyers, and I would put millennials who are already buyers in that too, which I'm a Gen Xer. I'm that in-between generation that nobody cares about. I'm always like, look at me, look at me. But, you know, we buy differently, right? This all shops differently and they care about different things. And commercials are not a place, well, like when I was growing up, commercials were a place to find out new products. That's where you learned about new stuff.
Right.
Now it is super annoying and why can't it go away? And because of that, he wouldn't buy the shoe. And
that's incredible. And there's a value bomb right there for real. I mean, ooh, nice mug. It's beautiful. See, if you guys are just listening on Spreaker, not that I don't love Spreaker, but if you're just listening on Spreaker, you're totally missing out on like this gorgeous mug. That Tamara.
I'm just trying to get your halo of beauty. I'm like, my way.
You're so sweet. No, seriously though. But that was a serious value bomb right there. And you know, unfortunately, I think a lot of the people who are in these I'm assuming Skechers either has a marketing department or outsources it to some marketing agency of some sort. Probably have no clue, no idea of the pulse of the actual purchasers. Because let's face it, it happens just the way you said it happens. You know, you're in the store, mom goes, "Hey, these are cool. You want them?" And the kid's like, no. Because really, if the kid's not interested, it doesn't matter. You're not.
No.
You're not
And
marketing.
The commercial, which is the effort to make them engaged and interested, did the exact opposite. So he may have wanted them had he seen some kids at school with them or seen them somewhere else, but because he saw it in a commercial, he equated it with annoying. So no.
Actually, I have to say I'm with him. I've seen that commercial, and it is annoying.
Well, Skechers, if you're listening, call us. Like, we might have some advice for you to make it better. Because I love Skechers as a brand, but come on, like.
Me too. I own several pairs. They're super comfy.
But, you know, it goes back to your car comment earlier, that news, which I think was so great that you shared that, of what's happening today and the way we're buying today is just drastically different than it was even 5 years ago. And we as business owners, we need to, and entrepreneurs, if we want to be successful, we need to catch up.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So how does a company avoid that, especially if you're marketing in the digital arena? It is like you say, you know, it's swarmed. It's congested. You know what I mean? So how in the world does one stand out under those circumstances?
Yeah, so I think it boils down to these two words together, which is differentiated value. So I'll break that down a little bit, tell you what I mean. So number one is differentiated, and that is exactly what we were talking about with avoiding the ER trap. You have to be willing to do it totally different than everybody else in your marketplace. So sorry, Skechers, I'm going to keep using you as an example, but all the shoe ads across the board look the same, all the companies, right? So I look at that and I'm like, it's just one of many, this has got this feature and this has got that feature, but basically they're the same thing. So now I'm buying on price. So that's bad. You don't want to put your customer there. So you got to be willing to do it drastically different than everybody else. And that takes a willingness to take risks. And not everybody's willing to do that. And I think oftentimes in the business and the marketing particular world, what happens is we go, ooh, that's a little bit scary because it may or may not work. We have no proof. We've never validated this. So we're going to do what we've always done. We're going to do some ads. We'll do some billboards. We'll put it on some cool influencers on Instagram, and that's fine, right? So but the marketplace has moved past that. So that's number one. And the second thing is, I think you really need to provide massive value. We need to think about, all right, what is my customer really buying? Because like for us, are they buying the assessment? No, they're buying the opportunity to perform better and have a stronger voice. That's really what they're buying. So I think oftentimes in marketing, we get wrapped up in our own features and benefits. So, all right, they get an assessment, it takes 7 minutes, it's online, they get this report. That's not what they're buying. They don't care about that. They care about the end feeling or result. And, you know, that's why SoulCycle and Airbnb and these guys have gotten it right, because they are selling a feeling and an experience while the rest of us are out here selling a feature and benefit. And that's not enough.
That is so true. And you know what? I'm just thinking about what made I've done Airbnb now, I think maybe 3 times. And I'm thinking about like, what is it that made my Airbnb experiences like kind of awesome, right?
Yeah.
One of them left cookies.
Not
a huge deal, right? But made me feel kind of warm and fuzzy when I got there, right? Yeah. Which by the way, your high-end hotels do. You're like really, really high in hotels, which believe me, I haven't stayed at all that often, but I've been there.
I do.
I've been there a time or two. And one place I stayed, I think it was at the RNC convention, maybe. They gave us warm cookies when we checked in.
It's like the best, right?
It is. And now I was dieting, and at first, perpetually. Oh. And at first I was like, oh, doggone it, these people. But it does taste good.
Right, it's so good. And just one bite. One bite is like 0 calories, right? Because it's just one bite.
Absolutely. Actually, you go into the negative.
Standing up, no calories. I don't know if you do that. Or with your jacket on.
No calories. Doesn't count. It's like the 5-second rule.
But you know, the cookie thing is a great example of it doesn't have to be massive. Those small little differentiated value points make a huge difference. So you don't have to go, oh my God, I've got to flip my entire business model. You might, you know, depending on the business you're in, but hey, okay, I've got all this competition over here. What are they not doing? What is a tiny little thing that my customer would care about that they're not doing? Because ultimately you're going to go back to the Airbnb with a cookie. because they did something different than everybody else. And that's awesome. And that's why you go back to those companies over and over again. So because they're providing an experience, but it's got to be different than what everybody else is willing to do. And I think that's one of the key drivers to success. When you look at entrepreneurs that are really making it, it's because they're out there going, all right, I'm going to do what everybody else is not doing. And I'm going to do it in a way that provides value, but I'm willing to step out and do that.
That is so. I love that. I love that. That's a fantastic idea. So, are there any specific? This is the thing with video, though.
Messing with our hair too.
Girls in the video. Wait, what?
I know.
If you are not watching, but you're just listening, I just saw a hair out of place and immediately fixed it because I'm a girl and it's kind of what we do. We can't help ourselves.
Hard not to.
Exactly. Now, are there specific things that you want to avoid as an entrepreneur? I know you want to make yourself stand out and you want to differentiate, but are there some practices that directly say I'm not different? Is there anything that I'm no different than anything else? Is there anything that people do repeatedly that's just a huge mistake marketing wise?
Yeah, so there's two actually huge ones that come to mind because I just experienced them with someone else recently. So one is you use the language of everybody else and you believe it. So I'll give you an example, particularly in the consulting world, for those in the service business. If I call you and I say, well, why should I hire you? And you say, well, I believe in getting results. We're action oriented. I'm like, okay, so let me get this right, Melanie, not that you would say this. So if I call your competition, they're going to be like, we're not about results. So why don't you call Melanie? Because that's not us. That language that we think, and you know what, you might be right. You may be way better at getting results than your competition, but that doesn't matter. It's what everybody's going to say. It's cost of entry language versus differentiation language. And we tend to get stuck in cost of entry language. Ooh, I think I'm going to write a blog about that. That sounded really good.
Write that down. That's good stuff right there.
Look, somebody write that down.
Your people. We'll write that down.
Right, my people. So, what was I saying? Oh yeah, so that's the language we get trapped in. So you really got to figure out what is the cost of entry in my category and what is actual differentiation in my category. And we get trapped here. Action oriented, speedy delivery. So everybody says that, right? So figure out what's different. So that's the first one. The second one I'd say is, and this is so basic but so important, it's they don't listen. People don't listen. People have verbal blah all over you with all of the things that matter about me. And the person on the other end's like, okay.
Like you're totally not listening.
Right. You're not even hearing my language or what I'm talking about. And so I think it was we as marketers took a step back and actually listened to the language that our customers used and then use that language. I'll give you an example, actually. I'll take it a level deeper.
Oh, Tamara, do me a favor. I'm sorry. I hate to cut you off, but we're up against the break. Hold that thought. Hold that thought. I'm going
to write down what I just said as we get a break.
Been there. You're listening to Money Talk with Melanie. We have Tamara Kleinberg on today, and we're talking about small business marketing and avoiding the We want to avoid that. We'll be back on the other side of the break.
From the war front to the streets of our nation's capital, men of faith, Dr. Michael Jones, the underground professor, and Kenneth McClinton, the exceptional conservative, bring both constitutional gravitas and spiritual perspective on today's issues to the most influential Christian urban talk show, 9:05 p.m. Eastern, Thursdays. It's a new day on New Day, Black and Red.
Hey, it's Jersey Joe. Look, Reaver, common sense. You can catch me every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on shrmedia.com. That's every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, shrmedia.com.
The best late-night conservative talk show in America, Sackheads Radio. And listen, there are no people better on the air to give you the best in conservative talk than Sackhead Sean and Sackhead Clint. and we're working on immigration papers for a certain other guy who happens to work there too. Tuning in around the world to the best late night conservative talk, Tackheads Radio. The best late night conservative talk show in America. In America.
And in this web was a large, I'm pretty sure it was the biggest spider I've ever seen.
Times are dark. The people are misled by corrupt politicians, lied to by establishment media, and deceived by the false messages of Islam. A nation looking for direction needs a guide. It needs a man with a cane. I'm Dave Milner. Join me on Spreaker, SHR Media, Pundit Press, Live Rebooting Liberty, and YouTube for a unique brand of commentary on the unpleasant blind guy. Because the truth is not always pleasant.
Who likes paying taxes? Nobody. That's why Eva Rosenberg from TaxMama.com wants you to pay less of them. Read Small Business Taxes Made Easy and learn how to set up a business plan that minimizes taxes, the tax benefits of different forms of financing, spot and fix errors in the 1099s, legally increase your deductible expenses with better record-keeping techniques. Don't let the IRS squeeze you out of every penny. Start deducting today. Visit TaxMama.com. TaxMama.com. That's TaxMama with one M.com.
We love the tax mama, by the way, Eva Rosenberg. I have to have her back on the show soon. She really is fantastic with all things taxes. You're listening to Money Talk with Melanie, by the way, and this is your business diva, Melanie Collette. We have Tamara Kleinberg on. We're talking about small business marketing. Okay, want to hear something really funny? I'm so glad that she wrote down what we were talking about before the break, because as often happens, I'm like, what? I usually say we were discussing blah 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 before the so what were we? What were we discussing?
Do you think in pictures? Because I do that, and then if someone interrupts my picture, I lose my thought completely, and I could have been right in the middle of a sentence.
Totally.
And
which is why I hate interrupting people for a break, but I'm like, because the break.
I wrote it down because I like the way I said it, so I wrote it down.
It was good stuff. So tell us.
Yeah. So, and I have to say, by the way, really quickly, the Tax Mama, we've got to give a shout out to your sponsor because she's a great example of doing it differently. So normally when you think of people who are providing tax services, it's like Johnson, Smith, and blah, blah, blah. It's very, it's all the same. And hers is Tax Mama. And I was like, oh, I'm going to remember that.
I love her too. She will answer your tax questions for free too on her website.
I thought as we were listening to that with the music in the background, I was like, yeah, that's a great example of it being different. So I really liked it.
Oh,
so
cool. I'm going to tell her.
The two things that entrepreneurs should avoid, we had started with the cost of entry language. That's where we were.
Yes.
And then finding the differentiated. And the other one was not listening. That's what we were talking about.
Yes, not listening. Okay. Let's talk about how hilarious that is for like 1 second.
I got all wrapped up in the music. I was like jamming away over here, not paying attention. What was I saying?
Right, me too. Neither one of us were listening. So speaking of not listening.
Is that right? Exactly.
Right.
So here's a way to think of it to get out of that trap. Aside from just simply taking a step back and shutting up, which I would highly recommend that we as entrepreneurs do more often. But there's a difference between pain and symptoms. So customers buy for the symptoms, but they stay for the pain. So I think I got that right. It's one or the other. I never remember which one's the more topical one, but you know what I mean.
I got you.
Yeah, think of it this way. So let's say you're a chiropractor and you're out there promoting, I can get you in alignment, I'm going to adjust your back, I'm going to blah, blah, blah. That's not what people are buying. What people are buying is, I need help with my headache. I have low back pain. So if you figure out their language, you can get them in on their language, and then they'll stay because they'll realize that the long-term benefit of being in alignment is all these different health issues. But if you go out of the gate, it's kind of a features and benefits thing. If you go out of the gate with, here's all the things that I can do for you, you're probably missing the mark and missing the opportunity to connect with your marketplace because their language is different. You're down here and they're like, but I've got a headache. I need to deal up here. So if I'm the tax mama, she did a great job of this. I want more money back. I need more cash in my bank, right? She said it. I'm not hiring someone because they're organized and like can understand my finances and all that. That'll come and she'll do that and I'll stay because of that. But my initial reason for calling her is because she said, I can get more money back. And that's what I want. So she's doing a great job of that. Most of us miss the mark and we go out there with all our pain, and they're like symptom. Just tell me what that is. So I think that's how you solve that.
I love that. It's an excellent idea. I can't believe we're done already.
No.
I know. So listen, how can people get in touch with you? How can they avail themselves of your services?
So the simplest thing is to go to our website, which is gotolaunchstreet.com, GOTO launchstreet.com, and we're all over the place there. I would recommend subscribing because then you can get access to a bunch of stuff.
Great idea. What is the name of your TED Talks? Because I by the way, TED Talks, send me a check. But go.
Oh, you know what? It's on our website, so they can find it there. And it's how entrepreneurs elevate communities and change the world. And there's some great examples of small-time entrepreneurs. I mean, we talked about Airbnb, these big guys, but I've got some great examples of little guys like us who have made a huge difference.
The Snuggie.
The Snuggie, yes. I love my Snuggie.
And the Snuggie story in and of itself is worth the web search. I'm saying just worth going to the and see right now you don't know what I'm talking about, but you will if you go to golaunchstreet.com.
That's right. It's on there.
And look at the TED Talk because it's fantastic. Thank you so much for being on the show again. Thank you for being my guinea pig too.
This is innovation in action, right? Like I'm going to test this out and see what happens. So kudos to you because this is a great example of what you need to do to move your business forward as an entrepreneur.
I'm a little verklempt. Thank you so much. Huge compliment coming from you. Thank you so much, Tamara Kleinberg. And I'm sure I will have you on the show again. Thank you so much. So. Have a great day. Okay. That was Ms. Tamara Kleinberg, who we absolutely love here at Money Talk with Melanie. How fantastic was she? She was just fantastic. Love her. So now it is time, boys and girls, for your 5 minutes of personal finance. Oh my gosh, that was so much fun. And I'm so glad the video thing worked out. I mean, I will know for like absolute sure if it worked out once I replay the show and make sure like the sound and all that stuff. It can be computers is a nerve-wracking thing. Even if you teach it, you also know how much stuff can go wrong. But anywho, now it's time for the 5 minutes of personal finance. What are we talking about for the 5 minutes of personal finance today? Today we are discussing come on, Melanie. What are we doing? Oh, today we're discussing how to earn money with free mobile apps. There are some mobile apps that you can use to earn money with little to no effort. And let's face it, isn't that what we are always looking to do, is to do things with little to no effort? I would say so. So okay, here we go. Cancel. Good. All right. So here are some apps that you can use that can help you earn little to no money. Now, some of the apps I think I've been over before. Others I have not, are new. There are some apps that will pay you to go on scavenger hunts. And actually, I've actually done this one. Scavenger hunts. Basically, what it is marketing research. Is basically what it is. And usually it's something that you're already doing. So there's an app called Quick Thoughts, and it turns your phone into private eye technology, so to speak. And it takes you on missions to do market research, to find out information. It will ask you to take pictures of certain products and get the pricing and get the pricing on these products. And then you will send it into that marketing company. And I'm sure that they use it for whatever their purposes are. My guess is that other companies probably buy this information. I even though I've done this before, I never asked them what they do with the information, but I assume that that's what they're doing with the information, that they're using it to help other people market their products and make sure that their pricing is in the right range and that sort of thing. And depending on where you are, in the world, so to speak, different products can actually be different prices. Believe it or not, it happens all the time. So that's something that you could do. That's an app that you can use. And the key to doing that is, you're not going to make an awful lot of money, but the key to doing that is to use it in places that you already are shopping, doing market research for these companies. Now, there's an app called Let Go, but there are additional apps called Offer Up and Thread Up. All of these can be used to sell your old clothes, believe it or not. I particularly like Thread Up. I use Thread Up more often than I'd like to admit to, because what Thread Up will do is they'll go ahead, if they don't use your clothes to sell them, they will go ahead and give them to charity. They send you the bag, which you do have to pay for, but literally all you do is fill your bag and drop it off at the post office. So they will send you, they call it a clean out bag. They'll send you the clean out bag. You put your clothes in. They will sell what they can sell, donate what they can donate, and they put the money in your account. And you can either use it to buy on their website, or you can get you can cash it out, which is nice. Like I said, not an awful lot of money, but it's every little bit helps, right? It's lunch sometimes. Sometimes it's more, depending. Ibotta. I have not used Ibotta, but I hear a lot about it. And what it does is it offers you cash back on purchases. So I've heard people, and also they have a $10 sign up bonus. So something to think about is Ibotta. I'm going to start using that and let you know what I think. There's an app that will pay you to take surveys. Actually, there are several. If you Google them, you'll be able to find them. There's one called I Say mobile app. If you look that up, you'll be able to find it. And right now they have an A+ in the Better Business Bureau. And they just pay you to take surveys. You get money for taking surveys. It's a little bit crazy. Everyone's probably heard of Uber or Lyft. I know somebody who drives for Lyft. He absolutely loves it, and makes decent money at it too. And especially if you are in a really like a metropolitan place. Metropolitan? Is that what I really want? If you're like in an urban center or a place that's really busy, you can make great money. Uber or Lyft, and you're literally driving all day. And I will tell you, when I'm in DC or when I go away to different places, even if I drive, which I rarely do, but when I drive, I literally park my car and Uber or Lyft the whole time. Because if you're not familiar with the place, who wants the stress and hassle of having to find parking? Like, it's worth it just for that. I tend to go back and forth to DC quite a bit, and of course it's really congested, and I don't know that city very well. Maybe if I drove more, I would. There's an argument to be made for that, but usually when I go there, I Uber or Lyft, because I'm there on business and I have different places to be, and it's just a lot easier to Uber or Lyft. And there are tons of drivers, and they still make very good money. So those are some apps that you can use. Also, there's something called Uber Eats. I want to mention that, where you just pick up and deliver food as well. That I mentioned that one. So anyway, that's your 5 minutes of personal finance. We'll be back in one moment.
From the war front to the streets of our nation's capital, men of faith, Dr. Michael Jones, the underground professor, and Kenneth McClinton, the exceptional conservative, bring both constitutional gravitas and spiritual perspective on today's issues to the most influential Christian urban talk show, 9:05 p.m. Eastern, Thursdays. It's a new day on New Day.
Hey, it's Jersey Joe. Look, Reaver, common sense. You can catch me every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on shrmedia.com. That's every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, shrmedia.com.
The best late night conservative talk show in America, Crackheads Radio. And listen, there are no people better on the air to give you the best in conservative talk than Sackhead Sean and Sackhead Clint. We're working on immigration papers for a certain other guy who happens to work here too. For those who are tuning in around the world to the best late night conservative talk, Crackheads Radio. The best late night conservative talk show in America. In America.
And in this web was a large, I'm pretty sure it was the biggest spider I've ever seen.
I want to thank my guest today, Tamara Kleinberg, who was such a good sport in doing the video chat for the first time. That was super fun. I hope that the audience found it fun as well. She's fantastic and was absolutely the perfect guest to start that with. I want to thank everyone who's listening today. Thank everyone in the chat room today, which I didn't mention too much. I apologize for that, but I was a little preoccupied with my video, I think. But it was just fantastic to have her on the show today. And like I said, I want to thank everyone for listening. And please do join us again on Monday, where we'll have some special announcements. Remember, all of this is very important because it's your money.